Yes, thank you very much, Martin. This is a minister with only 3 weeks seniority as a minister, and he has already done a COP as EU president. That is quite extraordinary. Thank you very much for the cooperation, Martin. I would say that the EU strategy worked. We did not want Durban only to implement what was achieved in Copenhagen and Cancun. That, of course, is very important, and as Martin just said, the Polish minister said, that we also have achieved here, but we wanted more ambition. And it worked. The strategy is saying we will only commit to a second commitment period, although only very few others will do it. We are ready to do it, but only if in return we get a roadmap for the future. A roadmap with timelines. We had said no later than 2015 that we got. It had to start no later than 2020. That was achieved. And then, as you know, we want it to be legally binding, and as we just have heard from the Polish minister, as you have followed this night, that we also have, you could say, yes, but an agreed outcome with legal force. What then is that? That is the weakest of the options. But in Bali 4 years ago, the best parties could agree upon, that was agreed outcome. Now it's agreed outcome with legal force. That is the weakest of 3 options. People could wonder, normal citizens not attending climate conferences could say, and what difference does a roadmap mean? What does that mean for the fight against climate change? What we have achieved here in Durban is important because it makes a turn away from the 20th century where we did the convention and the Kyoto Protocol, where the developed countries had to commit and others had to do voluntary actions. In the 21st century we have a new reality. We are mutually interdependent, and what we have achieved tonight is that in the future we can have different pledges, we can have different efforts, but whatever we pledge, whatever we do, must have the same legal value. I believe this is a big achievement, not just for the climate area, but for multilateral cooperation in the 21st century. So this is very important. I would also say that our very good cooperation over a long time in building up alliances with the least developed countries and the OSIS, the most vulnerable states, that has definitely had an impact here. It was clear that the more the pressure worked on those who needed some pressure, the more we could see things moving in the position. But I would also say that it has been a very constructive atmosphere. I think that when we saw the Brazilian minister earlier this week announce that not only were they in favor of legally binding deal, but they would also themselves be legally bound, and when we heard that the US were out with not exactly the same phrases, but also said something in that direction, we could see that things started to move. So that is, all in all, a very good achievement. Not that there are not many things we have to work for in the future also, but we have made a very significant step forward. And last point, yes, the fight against climate change is not just about these international conferences and texts and what have we. It's also about what we do in our respective countries, in our respective regions. And we will still go back to Europe and try to push for ambition, try to be much more energy efficient, try to make the transformation into a greener economy, because that is what the world needs, and we will try to be in a front-runner position there and lead by example. The very last thing is also the South African presidency deserves compliments for what they achieved tonight, and of course not the least Foreign Minister Mashibana, the COP president, and her team. They have had some very challenging days, but in the end they did it, and we congratulate them with that.
Thank you, Commissioner.